أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير. Their example is that of one who kindled a fire. But when it illuminated what was around him, Allah took away their light and left them in darkness, so they could not see, deaf, dumb, and blind, so they will not return to the right path. Or it is like a rainstorm from the sky, within which is darkness, thunder, and lightning. They put their fingers in their ears against the thunderclaps in dread of death. But Allah is encompassing of the disbelievers. The lightning almost snatches away their sight. Every time it lights the way for them, they walk therein. But when darkness comes over them, they stand still. And if Allah had willed, He could have taken away their hearing and their sight. Indeed, Allah is over all things competent. In earlier ayat, we discussed different traits of munafiqeen. To make our understanding clear on hypocrisy and kufr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions an example to simplify the concept for us and so that we do not forget about this state of a person. In these ayat, two examples are being presented, indicating different stages of nifaq. The first example is مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا. Their example is that of one who kindled a fire, but when it illuminated what was around him, Allah took away their light and left them in darkness, so they could not see. It describes a person who lights the fire, so the atmosphere is lightened up. Fire does two jobs. It lights the atmosphere and is source of warmth. So it's a picture of a very dark night where fire is being lit, as the fire is required for light only if it is dark. Now the atmosphere is all lightened up, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused the nur, the ability to see of these people to be gone. So they were in darkness and now they are back again in darkness and even more darkness, as darkness is even more darker after bright light. But usually, if it is very dark, then our ears work even better. We are attentive to the slightest of the sounds. But for these people, they have gone dumb and deaf as well. So they can't speak, they do not hear any sound around. So if we think of such a person, then it's kind of a complete isolation, that no light, no sound, nothing affects him, and he do not say anything as well. So no expression from his side. All forms of communication are blocked, so nothing reaches him that he can understand anything. It is interesting to note that this ayah indicates a single person lighting the light, Allazi. But then, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away the nur, then there are many people, as indicated in binurihim, watarakahum, that light of many people was taken away, and they all were left in the darkness, and they all do not see. It means it describes a group of people who were in darkness and they were looking for light, as the word istawqada. It means seeking and requesting for fire. So their leader managed to lit the fire, taking it from somewhere. But when the fire was lit and the surroundings all lightened up, their own noor was taken away. Their own ability to see was taken away. The word adha'at is from dod waw hamza. These roots mention heat and light both. While light of their eyes has been taken away, yet they can feel the warmth of the fire. This example represents the situation that people were living in darkness before Islam, darkness of disbelief, pride, wrong customs, oppressions, and all kinds. They seeked light, but when they got it and the things became crystal clear for them, they choose to be in the complete darkness back again. That's why their own light has been taken away, although the surroundings are still lightened up. This describes the state of such a person who clearly understands the truth, but he chooses to live in darkness, as accepting the truth means to him loss of his own false highness. Darknesses are of different types. Some darknesses are of one's own desires or cultural values or some kind of pride or false customs. These darknesses can go away with time when a person starts accepting the truth slowly. But there is a kind of darkness which is very dark. This darkness is a feeling of false highness of one's own self. We learn in Surah Swad, but the Quran containing reminders. But those who disbelieve are in pride and dissension. This darkness do not fade away easily, and it gets even more stronger with time. So a person in this kind of darkness has been expressed in this example. Their state was that they were in darkness before light, and they are in even more darkness after light, as rejecting the truth causes the hearts to get even more harder. Summum bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. Deaf, dumb, and blind, so they will not return to the right path. They are deaf, so no advice, no admonition, no warning affects them in any way. Then they are dumb, so they do not express anything about their real condition of heart, their disease of heart, that they may be cured in any way. And also, this time, the noor of their own is gone, so no light from outside can help them. No chance that anything reaches them, as if they are all alone, just with the feeling of their own self and nothing around. Self centered, arrogant people for whom nothing exists but their own selves. This example indicates the people on kufr as described in ayat 6 and 7, that they will never change. And also, it indicates the people with the highest grade of hypocrisy, that even though may be pretending to be a Muslim, they might be thinking themselves to be a Muslim, but they are not obedient to their Rabb, but instead they kind of worship their own selves. Like we discussed earlier, the word adwa'at with roots dod wa hamza, it indicates two things, light and warmth. Their light has been taken away, but they can still feel the warmth. So they are enjoying the benefits of Islam. In the case if this mentions the munafiqeen of the highest grades, yet they are being called Muslims. So they enjoy all the rights of being a Muslim in the atmosphere of Islam. And even if this indicates kafirin, yet Islam brings benefits to the whole humanity. So what is left for them is the benefit for the time being. Otherwise, any chance that they will get the guidance toward the truth is gone. In the next ayat, another example is being described of another grade of hypocrisy. Let's see. أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق. Or it is like a rainstorm from the sky, within which is darkness, thunder, and lightning. يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت. They put their fingers in their ears against the thunderclaps in dread of death. Wallahu muhitum bil kafirin. But Allah is encompassing of the disbelievers. This example describes an atmosphere of heavy rain, which is only possible when there are dark and thick layers of clouds. So these clouds are cause of darkness. Then again, the rain is heavy. So whenever a person is in heavy rain, he can't see due to the rain falling heavily. It kinds of blind a person. Therefore, there are many kind of darknesses here as well. The heavy rain in this example represents the commands of Allah in the form of the revelations of the Quran, which were coming like heavy rain. Then the Ra'd, the thunder, reflects the ayat which were even harder commands to be followed, like the commands in which people had to sacrifice their wealth, their time, even themselves in the cause of Allah. And Barq, the lightning, is the success which Muslims were achieving in cause of Allah. And Sawa'iq are the hardships and the sufferings they had to see in the cause of Allah. But what is the condition of these hypocrites? Unlike the earlier example, these people are not yet deaf, so they do hear the thunder, but instead they put their fingers in, kind of like pushing their whole finger in the ears, as they do not want to listen to it. They want to save themselves from any kind of hardships. The hardships, the sufferings they might have to see in the cause of Allah appear to them as death. But Allah is encompassing of the disbelievers. They cannot run away anywhere. We learn in Suratul Ankabut, among people there are some who say, we believe in Allah. But when such a person is made to endure suffering in cause of Allah, he reckons the persecution he suffers at the hands of people as though it is punishment from Allah. But if victory comes from your Rabb, the same person will say, we were with you. Does Allah not know whatever is in the hearts of the people of the world? يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم. The lightning almost snatches away their sight. Every time it lights the way for them, they walk therein. But when darkness comes over them, they stand still. And if Allah had willed, He could have taken away their hearing and their sight. Indeed, Allah is over all things competent. The same bark, which was the success Muslims achieved after living very hard situations, it could have blinded these people completely away. It means it was quite possible that such hard situations could have caused them to run away from their grounds of being a Muslim or a practicing Muslim. كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه. Every time it lights the way for them, they walk therein. The same success which was attained after great hardships. It also brought some ease for the time being. So these people, they also started walking, meaning they also behaved like a Muslim in easy times. But then, وَإِذَا أَظْلَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ قَامُوا. But when darkness comes over them, they stand still. So, when the hardship was there, it was cause of darkness for them, as their noor of Iman is very light and is overpowered in hard situations. They leave on doing anything, any progress, or any hard work. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَذَهَبَ بِسَمْعِهِمْ وَأَبْصَارِهِمْ. And if Allah had willed, He could have taken away their hearing and their sight. Hence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not yet take away their abilities, as He is giving them chances, time, that they might change their behaviors. This example refers towards the people who do say that, yeah, they are Muslims. In fact, they like being a Muslim. They do want to live like a Muslim, but not at the cost of any hardship. Their own selves, their objectives, their life, their choices, their desires, their belongings are much more important for them than obedience of their Rabb. They pick and choose in Islam. They act on those commands which they find easy for themselves, which kind of suit them. But otherwise, they are not ready to obey, not ready to give up on their own goals, desires, lifestyles, objectives, or anything which is dear to them. Sadly, many of us, many of the Muslims fall in this category easily. We want to be called a Muslim. We like Islam, but we do not want to live by Islam, as then we have to give up on a few things of our liking and interests. Living this way, we feel ourselves to be safe in this world and in the hereafter. But the fact is, living this way, we will lose both in this world and the hereafter. When we say we are Muslims, then we should stand on our grounds of Islam firmly, as mere statements do not help. One of the questions which arise is that all these hard situations are hard for the true believers as well. Then why don't they feel these commands like death, like the hypocrites do? The answer is that when a person is sincere, he obeys Allah, he obeys one after the other commands, then things become easy for them. فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى. As for he who gives and fears Allah and believes in the best reward, we will ease him towards ease. But the others who are already reluctant to obey commands of Allah, these commands appear as death to them. They are just stuck without trying to grow in Islam and Iman sincerely. If we compare these two examples, the first one shows everything lightened up at first, but then complete darkness and absolutely no sound, no noise to hear. It means that these people, the truth was crystal clear to them without any confusion, but they made a conscious, firm decision of staying firmly on kufr. Hence, commands of Allah do not bother them at all. So, there is no sound, no rain, as they rejected everything altogether. But the second example, it's full of noise, rain, lightning, thunder, hence one after the other situation. So these people, they did not reject the truth completely. So the commands do bother them. Then, as they are not ready to obey, so these commands appear very hard to them. Another explanation of the word zulumat in Ayah 19 has been given as mutashabihat, those things which are not very clear, that they just want to talk about Islam. They discuss on different aspects of it which are not about practically acting on Islam, but rather mere discussions or discussions on those parts of the Quran which do not have any clear explanation, and they have been mentioned for particular purpose, the purpose that we understand that we do not know everything, so we understand that there is much more that we are completely unaware about. So for such people, their Islam is no more than discussions and statements. When it comes to practical steps, they are nowhere to be seen. Ma'azallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves us from such behaviors. We need to be truthful to ourselves, insha'Allah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.